So I'm going to show you how to prepare the plastic jugs or plastic containers for winter sowing. The first thing you have to do is drill some holes in the bottoms, and for a gallon jug I recommend 4 holes in the bottom and 4 in the side. And you can either drill them or you can make them with a knife or even a soldering iron. If you wait until after you cut the jugs open, it's really hard to drill. But you can also just, use a knife if you don't have access to a drill. And I just poke a knife in and twist it around a little bit. The holes on the side should be about 1/2 inch up or 1 inch up from the bottom. And that's just in case the bottom is sitting on the ground and the drainage gets blocked on the bottom. You can still get some drainage for your container. The next thing you do is cut the container open, but you leave a little bit attached so that it's like a hinge. And I always cut right below the handle. And I just use a knife, but you can also use scissors. If you have a bad pair of scissors, you don't mind. This is my pair of scissors that I cut anything. So you can see I left just like 1 inch. And that way, when the plants are big enough that they're outgrowing the container and you want to harden them off, or just open them up before you transplant them, you can flip the lid open and it'll stay open. If you don't cut it big enough, it's hard to open it up. So, okay. The next thing you want to do is fill it full of soil. So, and I use pre-moistened potting soil. Some websites and YouTube say use starter mix, but I found that in Alaska it doesn't hold the moisture quite well. The best luck that I've had is using GHU compost topped off with about 1 inch of really good potting soil. That was cheap, but you can't get GHU compost anymore. So I would recommend some good potting soil in the bottom of the container. All right, and then you're ready to plant your seeds. So in a container like this, I'm planting calendula seeds. I like to plant them next to my broccoli and other kale crops because they attract aphids, and then the aphids don't get into the broccoli so bad. So for a seed like this, I would plant 6 to 9 seeds and just follow the directions on the package. And that will tell you how deep to plant them and yeah, how much soil they should have on top. Some seeds don't need any soil on top. And I have done those with winter sowing too, and it worked fine. So like if you wanted to try some interesting flowers or vegetables that you can't find anywhere else, it's the way to go. I just cover it up. You could either do it like this, or you can have an extra handful of potting soil to put on top to cover up the seeds. Give it a nice, make sure it's really wet. Unlike starting seeds inside, this can go outside really sopping wet because we have such a dry climate. The next thing you do is tape it up. And I don't mean just put a few pieces of tape so it doesn't flop open. What you want to do is really seal it. And of course I can't find the end of this tape. So I use cheap packing tape, though some websites say don't use packing tape, it doesn't hold. I found that it holds just the right amount of time, and by the time May rolls around, it's falling apart and it comes off really easily. Then you can use the jugs the next year if you want. Or you can toss them and start all over. Ooh, I forgot something. I usually put a label on the inside. In case the labels that I put on the outside like fade or get rubbed off or something, put one on the inside. Just on a popsicle stick or a little piece of plastic. And then this is from last year, so I'll have to relabel it. You can see I just labeled it on the outside. I use either a grease pen or a Sharpie specially designed for outside, and you can find those, well, you can find them at Fred Meyer's, but especially in garden centers. Because if you just use a regular Sharpie, sometimes it fades, and then you have this big jug of plants and you have no idea what they are. So now it's ready to just go sit outside in the snow until springtime. Thanks.